a shell. She became an introvert and she stopped talking. I don't know whether it was because of what people told her, how she felt herself. But were there any...
I was in a boarding school and a lot of knowledge gets very easily passed, also misknowledge and incorrect information gets passed around. So we all appear to know about it, but we also thought that we were expected to display certain physical and mental symptoms. So,
like?
For example, cramps on HIV. So even if you didn't have cramps, you're like, oh, I'm cramping. Because these were things that everybody spoke about.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'd have girls who would get themselves excused from classes because we had a building we stayed in a building we went to classes to attend. So there'd be girls who would say, oh, I need to be excused from classes. So I think there was a lot of misinformation around. Also PMS.
Yeah.
And girls would feel entitled to snap and be mean because they were PMSing. Because I think psychologically there's so much built up around it that you begin to psychosomatically, is that the correct word? Believe in those symptoms, and it just sort of, it's one of those things where you may not be feeling it actually, but because the entire dorm is feeling like that. Because it's another interesting thing about menstruation when a group of girls together. Is it true enough that menstrual cycles tend to merge and align themselves? Because I do know that by the time we would go back home after say a term, a lot of us were within the same time. So I don't know if there's any scientific backing to
Really?
that.
Is it?
But it's
I can tell you traditional stories about that. Because there was a belief that all women menstruated at the same time with the new moon. All women.
It's interesting because this is really bizarre, but animals have a cycle. Yes. It's fixed. So for those of you who have dogs, I don't know, I mean I have two girls, two beagles. It's a fixed time of the year. So they will come and eat once in season, once, around, in order to deliver during June, July, or during December, Jan. So almost all litters are actually born during Jan and December with dogs. So I don't know, dogs will have to give us information on how that works with humans, but so much misinformation, just hearsay, ki ye bhi hai, wo bhi hai. But I think the larger point that, Seenu and you guys are discussing about why we don't talk about it. See, I think what Seenu said made a lot of sense. We need to move above, of course, hygiene and health is very, very important, but the purpose of menstruation is also very critical, which fortunately or unfortunately is linked to sex education. That's not something that we as a society are yet comfortable talking about. Even though traditionally, and Seenu will probably, again, give you stats and more knowledge on that, traditionally, we've been a very open society. We celebrate reproduction, we celebrate birth, we celebrate women. But we've come today through some process to a stage where we don't celebrate women. We do not celebrate their power, their reproductive might, the fact that they are special, and the fact that it's something that has to happen. Hide it. So just the way we run away from sex education, a natural corollary of that is that we don't want to talk about menstruation. And things that you don't speak about openly will eventually have information disseminated through hearsay. And that's the problem. Information that should be easily available, easily accessible, whether it's sex education or menstrual health and hygiene, is therefore gained through hearsay. Somebody's telling you they're not even qualified because their sources are not qualified. I think the problem begins with the fact that we consider so many subjects to be taboo. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's open to debate. But the issue is the inhibition surrounding the larger reproductive space in a society in present times. I'm sure things were different earlier on, but it stems from us being inhibited about reproduction and therefore being inhibited to talk about anything to do with menstruation.
I absolutely agree with you. So, Doctor, finally, now the facts. I mean,
what is a menstrual cycle?
Yes.
There are two parts to a menstrual cycle. One, the shedding of the lining of the uterus, which you see as blood. The second, one egg that a woman produces every month. And that, if it does not result in a pregnancy, you result with menstruation. So menstruation is only shedding of the lining of the uterus when a pregnancy doesn't take place. Increase in the thickness of the lining of the uterus is because post-ovulation, there's progesterone hormone which is increasing, and this progesterone hormone thickens the lining of the uterus. It basically, in layman's terminology, means making the bed ready for the baby to come and lie down. So implantation to take place. That's all that there is. And what gets shed out is that lining which is getting shed from no ovulation, from no pregnancy. That's about it. So it's not dirty, it's not bad, it's not healthy. It's not unhealthy, it's very healthy. In fact, I keep telling girls that if you are menstruating normally, every 28, 30 days means you are absolutely normal. It's when you are not menstruating, that's when the trouble starts.
Yeah. So do your patients, because you have urban patients, you have patients from Bombay, and do they already know all this? Are they well aware? Are they, in fact, open to talk about it? Or
I will divide them into two groups. There'd be that younger class of patients, or that younger lot of girls who have very easy access to the net. They are all very well informed. It is that Jenner which is not really very happy with going on the net and checking stuff, and who believe, mere dadi ne kiya, mere mummy ne bola, iske liye hum chalte bane. That class is very prevalent today, and they have got preconceived ideas or notions which is carrying forward, which is causing us a problem not only with menstruation, with all of anything to do with a woman. Because they feel it is their prerogative. And pregnancy is the biggest problem for us, because ghee khaoge to bachcha slide out hota hai. Now you give me scientific evidence or some reasoning, how can ghee be excreted in the vagina? No way.
Could we just, could you shed light on the conversation we were having earlier over coffee before we met, before we all reached here? We were sitting and grabbing a cup of coffee waiting for everybody to arrive. I was actually appalled. So my understanding, and I'm an educated, aware woman, my understanding of menstrual health and hygiene was this, that people in rural areas don't know anything about, of course Dino also has an opinion on this, that women in rural India don't have access to menstrual aids like sanitary napkins, whereas everybody in urban setting, and this is the key question here, that everybody in urban areas has access and uses sanitary pads for their periods. Now this is what doctor told me, and I had to have a really strong black coffee to recover from it. Please, doctor.
I can guarantee you we have a very big class or a large number of people who will use non-hygienic methods or unhygienic methods, like using a cloth but repeatedly using the same thing without being able to clean it properly. See, using a cloth is not wrong. Please don't get me wrong that I'm promoting use of a sanitary pad. That lower class of society, if it has to use a cloth, she's more than welcome to do it. But she has to wash it regularly, change it every 4 to 6 hours, dry it in the sun, which is extremely important. But menstruation is taboo. It is not something that she can do. So that is a dirty piece of cloth. She's not allowed to dry it or expose it to sun. She can't iron it with a hot iron. So how does she get rid of bacteria and fungi from it? So that is what is causing us a problem.
And it's also not a function of economic.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, there are sanitary pads which are available, which are relatively very, very cheap. And you will find women, and I can go on record saying this, they possibly wear solitaires in their ears and use.
We all need to play a role in doing that.
But do you guys also have classes like...
Yes, we do.
Yeah?
We do it in grade 4 before girls start menstruating.
Okay.
So that there's, and we do
so is it like a sex education class? Or
yeah,
is it
is. It's a sex education class, awareness of, we call it Chupi Todo, good touch, bad touch.
Yeah.
Because a lot of boys and girls don't know good touch, bad touch. In fact, I was looking at something today which said the statistics are 1 out of every 6 boys is sexually molested in some form or the other, and 1 out of every 4 girls. And so you can imagine, and in urban, rural, both. So to bring awareness around what is good touch, bad touch, and then what is the menstrual. So it's just part of it. We're not giving special attention to the menstrual cycle because then you're bringing sort of a taboo in another sense around it. That it's just a natural part of growing up.
Okay, great. So coming down to hygiene, which is why we're here. Let's just quickly, some tips, some things, or some misconceptions we have. Yeah.